Aston Martin's 2026 campaign has yielded just 1 points finish and only a single classified result that didn't end in a retirement or a double mechanical failure. That is not an exaggeration. Following the double technical failure in Barcelona, which left both Fernando Alonso and Lance Stroll barely matching the Cadillacs in qualifying, the team has effectively stopped maintaining the expectation that the current car will improve in any meaningful way. Lawrence Stroll did not respond in the way most team owners would after such a disastrous season. Instead, he held back, because the real judgment on the AMR 26 had already been made months earlier by the car's own design group. Adrian Newey has now effectively confirmed as much. Aston Martin is now undertaking a near-total rebuild of the 2026 machine. This is not a case of minor aerodynamic updates or a revised floor concept. The chassis, suspension layout, bodywork, cooling systems, everything apart from the front suspension geometry is being scrapped and redesigned from scratch. This is not a routine upgrade path. It is an acknowledgement that the car Newey put his name to in February was fundamentally flawed. And perhaps the most revealing detail is not the extent of the rebuild itself, but the fact that two separate credible accounts disagree on its delivery timeline, highlighting how unsettled and disorganized the recovery process still appears behind the scenes at Silverstone. To understand why Aston Martin is rebuilding nearly everything, you have to understand exactly how dysfunctional the first half of this season has been. The entire premise of the Honda partnership was integration. Chassis and power unit designed together, perfectly harmonized. The philosophy behind every works partnership in Formula One history. Instead, the AMR 26 and the Honda RA 626H have spent 6 months fighting each other. The power unit's vibrations have been severe enough that Newey described the risk to drivers in stark terms. Alonso and Stroll reported symptoms serious enough that the team genuinely discussed whether prolonged exposure could cause long-term nerve damage. In Australia, Aston Martin arrived with 4 batteries. 2 were pulled from circulation after first practice due to conditioning issues caused by the vibration. With 2 batteries left and no further supply possible, Newey called the situation quite a scary place to be in, and a double retirement was the expected outcome before a wheel had even turned in anger. China brought a retirement when the vibrations became too uncomfortable to continue. It was not until Japan, Honda's home race, that Aston Martin recorded its first finish of the season, Alonso bringing the car home 18th, a lapped finish that the team nonetheless treated as a genuine milestone. Barcelona then delivered a double technical failure that left both cars struggling to match the Cadillacs in qualifying on a circuit completely different in character from Monaco the race before. Aston Martin's own trackside chief, Mike Crack, made the diagnosis explicit. Monaco and Barcelona were completely different circuits, slow and twisty against fast and flowing, and the team was uncompetitive at both. That is not a circuit-specific weakness. That is a car that needs improvement everywhere. The scale of what Newey is rebuilding deserves to be stated plainly, because it is unusual even by the standards of a difficult Formula One season. According to Motorsport.com, Italy's Franco Nugnes, the new car will be entirely redesigned with the single exception of the front suspension geometry. Everything else, the chassis structure, the bodywork, the cooling architecture that has already been modified once this season, with extra vents to help the struggling Honda power unit breathe, and critically, the rear suspension concept is being rebuilt from a blank sheet. The rear suspension detail matters more than it might first appear. Aston Martin's new approach is reportedly drawing on engineering concepts not expected to become common across the grid until the 2027 regulation cycle, meaning the team is not simply fixing what went wrong with the AMR 26. They are attempting to leapfrog directly toward ideas the rest of the paddock has not yet implemented. That is either an enormous opportunity or an enormous risk, depending on whether the concept translates from the wind tunnel to the track without the same kind of integration failures that defined the first half of the season. Newey has been explicit that the team deliberately chose not to bring piecemeal updates to early races this year. Rather than spending development resources chasing marginal gains on a car whose fundamentals were already compromised, Aston Martin decided to absorb the pain of a lost first half of the season and direct everything toward a single comprehensive reset. The technical leadership behind that reset has been reinforced specifically for this project. Newey is working closely with technical director Enrico Cardile, while former Mercedes personnel Jack Vino and Duncan Elliott have been brought into the structure. This is not a department running on the same staff that produced the AMR26. It is a strengthened technical organization attempting to prove that this season's results say more about a flawed starting concept than about the people now tasked with fixing it. A new chassis alone does not solve Aston Martin's problem because the data suggests roughly 2 seconds of their deficit to the front of the grid comes directly from the Honda power unit rather than the chassis around it. That is where the ADO system becomes critical. Honda has been granted upgrade opportunities under the same FIA framework, helping Ferrari and Mercedes close their own deficits. And the explicit target is recovering at least half of the power currently missing compared to rivals. Honda's engineers have also made tangible progress on the vibration problem itself, testing at Sakura with the engine connected to an actual chassis on the dyno, rather than relying solely on track running, allowed far more comprehensive sensor data than was possible before. Honda's project lead, Orihara, described finding good progress on both the battery side and the vibrations the driver feels. Incremental but real improvement on the fault line that has defined this partnership's reputation since preseason testing first exposed it. Here's where the story gets genuinely uncertain, and it deserves to be treated honestly rather than smoothed over. Reports from BBC sources relayed through MotorBiscuit days ago suggest the chassis and engine upgrades are being deliberately staggered. The comprehensive chassis overhaul arriving around the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa, with Honda's critical power unit revision following later at Zandvoort. That timeline would mean Aston Martin spends an entire race weekend running a brand new chassis behind the same underpowered, vibration-prone engine that has defined their season, followed by a separate weekend integrating a new power unit into a chassis that has already been on track without it. Other reporting, including Italian sources and the team's own public framing around Hungary, describes both elements arriving together as a single unified package. Both versions cannot be correct. What is consistent across every source is that the team is treating Austria, Britain, and Belgium as effectively transitional races, circuits to manage rather than circuits to fight at, with the genuine new season beginning whenever this rebuilt car and updated engine actually reach the grid together. Drop a comment. Do you think the upgrades arrive together, or does Aston Martin's recovery get delayed even further by a staggered rollout? It is worth being honest about what Aston Martin is actually targeting here, because the ambition is deliberately modest compared to where Newey's arrival was supposed to take this team. Nobody inside Silverstone is talking about podiums or championship contention for the second half of 2026. The stated goal is climbing out of the back of the grid and becoming a team that fights for points on a regular basis. Given where the season started, a car that occasionally could not complete a Grand Prix distance, a power unit Newey himself said was emanating vibrations severe enough to risk driver health, and a chassis that Alonso described, without contradiction from his own team, as the worst on the grid, reaching that target would represent genuine progress rather than the disappointment it would be for almost any other operation on the grid. The risk profile here is significant in both directions. If the rebuilt chassis and Honda's ADO-supported engine integrate as cleanly as the team is hoping, Aston Martin could move from fighting Cadillac for 19th to genuinely contesting the midfield within a handful of races.